Okay, what's up, guys? This is Kevin Robert. This is the Success with Anxiety podcast, episode 2. And what I want to go over on this episode is kind of an extension of the very first episode we did, which was all about the symptoms of depersonalization, derealization. I told you guys my story. I told you guys what it was all about, and I told you guys how to get over it. So if you haven't watched that one yet and you're wondering about some of those questions, go back to our very first episode and watch that. And I tell you exactly how to get over it and kind of my story, how I had it, how I got over it. And I let you know exactly what the symptoms are. So if you haven't seen that one yet, it's a really good podcast. I've got a lot of good feedback on it. Go watch that one. If you go into the description, it's all time stamped. So it's kind of long. All my episodes are going to be time stamped. So if you want to like forward to something specific, then you can go ahead and do that. But you should listen to the whole thing. So just put it on when you're in the car or when you're just laying in bed or whatever. I think it's really important to listen to all the podcasts that I'm going to do all the way through, because I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of good information. So this is going to be kind of an extension about that. And I'm actually probably going to do a whole series on just these symptoms, the symptoms of depersonalization and derealization, because they are a set of symptoms that a lot of people have a lot of trouble getting over, including myself when I used to have it. And there's like entire like support groups of thousands of people on Facebook that are just on that group for these specific symptoms, which I don't think there's any other stress and anxiety symptom where there's like a whole group around it of like a couple thousand people, right? But there's like a whole bunch of like depersonalization, derealization groups with a whole bunch of people in it. So it's a symptom a lot of people have a lot of trouble with. So I want to jump into this. I want to stop babbling, but what we're going to be going over today is basically all the symptoms that I had of when I had depersonalization, derealization 24/7. I'm going to go over every single symptom that I had, and it was pretty much like every single symptom that comes with this. So I think I had like everything. I mean, I had it for 5 years, so and it was really extreme. So I pretty much had every symptom, but that is what I'm going to go over right now. Before we get started, I got to tell you, I'm pretty much going to be saying this on every single podcast. I'm not a doctor. I have no clue what I'm talking about. I'm just an idiot doing a podcast, so don't listen to me. Go get help and talk to a real doctor, a licensed physician about any medical stuff. The only stuff that I'm going to be repeating to you guys is stuff that I know from my experience to be true and from a lot of people that I've talked to that have gotten over these symptoms, and stuff that I'm going to be repeating that I've heard other doctors say. I've seen a lot of really good doctors. All right, so with that being said, let's jump into it. I have a lot of people reaching out to me and asking me about the different symptoms. Like, you know, I get messages all the time because I kind of post in the Facebook groups often, and I reply to people a lot. And I just get a whole bunch of messages of people asking me, hey, did you have this? Did you have this symptom? Did you have memory loss? Did you have this symptom when you had it? Stuff like that. So I'm going to be going over every single symptom I had, and which is pretty much all the symptoms of it. So let's get into it. I'm just going to list these things off. I don't know how this is going to sound. I'm just giving like a big list, but I'm going to list every single symptom off, and that way you know all the stuff I had. So let's go down the list. So all my symptoms of depersonalization, derealization, when I had it, feeling like your limbs are fake, right? So that's like, this is more like the depersonalization side of things. So feeling like your limbs are fake, which is like you hold your hand up in front of your face and your arm looks like almost like a mannequin arm, like it's fake, like it's not attached to you, like your body isn't actually yours, right? Another symptom, stuff feeling heavier or lighter than normal. That's something I actually had a lot of trouble with towards the end of it when I was getting over these feelings. I would like pick up my cell phone and it would either feel like really like abnormally light and it would just feel like really weird and freaky, or it would feel like really heavy. I noticed it a lot when I would pick up my cell phone. Okay. Everything looks unreal or fake. That's the derealization, right? When your environment looks weird. Okay. Feeling like you're in a dream, that's kind of the same thing, right? You're walking around and your head's really cloudy, and it's kind of you'll go out and do stuff like all day long and everything looks just really weird. And then when you get home, it's like you could remember doing the things that you did that day. You can clearly picture you going through the motions of what you did today. But when you get home and you're kind of laying in bed, it doesn't seem like you actually did it. It seems like almost like it was a dream. Like you have memory of it, but you don't have like an emotional connection to what you were doing. And it almost doesn't seem like you really did that. It seems like you were dreaming, right? Which brings me to the next symptom, loss of emotional coloring, right? And just kind of loss of emotions in general, right? You don't feel happy. You don't feel sad. You just kind of feel flat, right? You look at like a childhood memory or like something that you had when you were a kid that normally gives you a good feeling, or you watch like a childhood movie that usually gives you like a really good feeling, kind of takes you back to your childhood, right? You look at that or you watch that movie or something and you just don't feel that inside. You just feel completely flat, almost like it's your first time watching it, and it just doesn't trigger any emotion, right? Blank mind was a symptom I had, which kind of goes into that. But blank mind was more like couldn't think, couldn't talk. When I had it, I wouldn't be able to. I'm actually pretty tired right now at the time I'm doing this podcast, but I think I'm flowing pretty good the way I'm talking, but I would definitely not be able to talk kind of at this pace and really get my thoughts across as much as I am now when I had it. I just wouldn't be able to like formulate thoughts good. And I wouldn't be able to really just like talk and flow with sentences and stuff like this, right? So blank mind. Another symptom I had was memory issues, right? And this is a big one that people talk about. I had really, really bad memory issues. I couldn't, it was more than just like not remembering what you ate for breakfast and stuff like that. It was kind of like you go through, you wake up, you eat breakfast, and then a couple hours pass, and then you don't remember what you did in those last few hours, right? Or it's almost kind of like time lapses, but it's not like you're completely like blacked out or anything, right? It's just all of a sudden 5 hours have passed and you don't really know what you did during that time, right? And I actually struggled with that one a lot. I went and got a bunch of tests done for like brain problems that cause that. I got tested for like syphilis and stuff like that, right? Came back negative, obviously. But they actually did a pretty extensive workup on me when it came to memory problems. And everything turned out completely fine, right? So memory problems, I was dizzy a lot and just really like off balance when I had it. I would either get symptoms that felt like I was getting lightheaded, like I was going to faint, or I would just be like really just kind of off balance, like kind of like stumble and stuff. So feeling dizzy, vision problems, vision just seeming either blurry or not really blurry, but just kind of like off, almost like your pupils are dilated or something like that. Okay. Time distortion, which is one of the main things that really like freaked me out. And now that I'm out of this, I don't really know how to explain that. I could kind of picture in my head, or I could kind of like in my head take myself back to a time where I was feeling like the sense of distorted time a lot, but I can't really wrap my head around how to really explain it. Just so you guys know, I just get on and talk with these things. I don't really have like structure. I'm sure I will in the future, but I probably should have thought about that one more. But if you have this, I mean, a lot of you will know what I'm talking about. So I'm basically just trying to go through all my symptoms so you could feel comfortable that I had the same thing as you guys, right? So distorted time, another symptom I had was the existential thoughts, right? Which is super common. A lot of you guys have that. I had a lot of the what if thoughts, right? Which goes into what we talked about in the last episode, where it plays into the doubt, right? Like, what if I'm going crazy? What if I'm getting schizophrenia? What if I have a brain problem? What if I have brain damage? Right? Stuff like that. So a lot of the what if type thoughts. I had a lot of head pressure and like head tenseness. Usually I had that really bad when I would like leave the house. My whole head would feel tense, and then like my forehead and it, like on the top, would feel like really like pressurized and tense. So that's definitely a big symptom of DPDR. Had trouble getting to sleep. I would feel really zoned out, but I would feel like my brain just wouldn't turn off or something. So it's almost like you felt so zoned out and you were kind of like feeling so weird that it was hard to relax enough to actually fall asleep. Right. So I had a hard time sleeping a lot. And when you have a hard time sleeping, it actually makes it worse, just so you guys know. When you don't get sleep, it causes more stress on your body, makes it worse, right? So I had that. And a lot of these symptoms that I'm telling you about would like, I mean, there would be like months where I would have like memory problems, and then they would go away for a little bit, and I'd have, maybe I didn't have dizziness at first, but then the next like few months I had dizziness. So a lot of these were like with me all the time, but some of them kind of came and went also. All right. So hard to sleep, covered that one. Feeling lost in unfamiliar areas. This is probably like the thing that is like the scariest when you, out of the whole thing with this like condition, I think this is the thing that like scares people the most, and it definitely was like the hardest thing on me. I remember when I first got it, I was driving to my job, and it was a freeway I drove like literally every single day. Like I literally knew this freeway like the back of my hand. And when I got it really bad the first time, I was out and about like driving to my job, and I was on that freeway. But when I started feeling these symptoms, that freeway felt like totally like it was my very first time being there, and like I didn't know where I was at. Right. There was even a time where I had to get on my navigation on my phone just so I could feel like comfortable. Like I knew where I was at, but I felt like I didn't know where I was at. So it's almost like I didn't believe what my mind was telling me because I felt like I didn't know where I was at. So I would literally get on my navigation sometimes just so I could like look at something physical right there that's going to tell me, yeah, Kevin, you're right here in this spot on the freeway, just like you think you are, even though it feels unfamiliar. Right. So that was like the hardest symptom for me. Even driving around my neighborhood that I at the time had lived in for like 10 years felt like I didn't know like where I was at, and almost like you can get lost in such a familiar place, right? And you can even feel like that if it gets bad enough in your own house, where you feel like you're like just kind of lost and just there, like you're in an unfamiliar spot, right? So I had that for sure. That was a really scary feeling. Another scary feeling was feeling like, this one's hard to explain, but feeling like you're waking up moment to moment. So it's kind of like, like, so you fall asleep and then you wake up, and then it takes you like a couple seconds just to kind of realize, oh, okay, here I am. I'm in my room. I'm awake. I should sit up, right? It like takes you a minute to kind of like orient, right? Well, when I had this, when it was at like its worst point, I was feeling like that, like almost moment to moment. So it's like I would be doing something, and then like a minute later, I would feel like I had just woke up in that spot, and I kind of had to orient, like, oh, okay, what am I doing again? Oh yeah, I'm in the kitchen. I'm here. Okay, I'm good. Start doing my thing again. And then like a minute later, it's almost like I'm waking up again, and so, oh, what am I doing? Oh, okay, I'm here. I'm in the kitchen. Okay, I know what's up, right? That was when it was at its worst. It was almost like a video game, like glitching from like spot to spot, and I was just like restarting every like, almost like waking up or restarting every few minutes. And if you don't have this, it's like, and me not feeling it anymore, it's really really hard to describe. But I'm sure some of you guys listening to this have that symptom, and you can kind of relate with what I'm saying. But that was one of my symptoms. And then I also had delayed orientation after waking up, like especially if I took a nap. Like if I took a nap and I woke up, there would be some times where like I would be like talking after waking up and not even remember talking. And it would take me like a full like 60 seconds sometimes to even realize like that I'm awake. And like I like woke up and started like talking, but I didn't even know I was talking or anything, right? It's a really weird feeling, right? It's kind of like when people get like blacked out drunk and they're like walking around and like saying stuff and then they just completely don't remember. It's kind of like that, but it took like it would take like a minute or something after waking up to really like realize like where I'm at and to actually feel awake. And the fact that I would be like talking and stuff during that time that I don't remember, that really scared me a lot. And then the last thing I have here is feeling like it's hard to control like your limbs and stuff, right? Like you're almost putting extra thought into it. Like if you're in the shower, like washing your hair, it almost feels like you can't control the coordination of your hand going to your head, right? Or if you're going to like reach out and grab something, it almost feels like you're not going to be able to like coordinate that movement. Like you can't control your limbs good because it feels like you're like almost separate from your body, right? So that's basically it. Those are all the symptoms I had. I'll run through them. I know I kind of explained each one. I'll run through them again really quick. All my symptoms I had when I had depersonalization, derealization 24/7 for 5 years. Feeling like your limbs are fake, stuff feeling heavier or lighter than normal, everything looks unreal or fake, feeling like you're in a dream, blank mind, memory problems, dizzy, vision problems, time distortion, existential thoughts, what if thoughts, thinking something's wrong with you, head pressure, trouble falling asleep, feeling lost in familiar areas, feeling like you're waking up moment to moment or like you're almost glitching, delayed orientation when waking up, and feeling like it's hard to control your limbs and it's hard to do stuff. So those are all the symptoms I had. Like I said, I get a lot of people that are reaching out to me asking me if I had certain things. So that's all the stuff I had that I could remember, at least. I'm sure, like I said, I've been completely fine, 100% good for 2 years. So I'm sure there's some stuff that I'm forgetting. But here's the thing. Everyone has different symptoms. For the most part, we kind of have the same stuff. Like we all feel zoned out and stuff, right? But here's the thing. If you feel like that and you have this and you have something else that's not on my list, like a different kind of symptom, it just is what it is. It doesn't mean you have something different, right? Different people react to stress differently. Different people have different symptoms. And again, like I went over in the first podcast, all this is from stress. If you've been medically cleared, you got your blood work done, you talked to doctors, they told you nothing's going on, it's from stress, and that's all it is, right? I had every single one of those symptoms. I had it for 5 years, and I'm completely like 100% back to normal. And I'm not even just saying that. There's people out there that like say like, yeah, I'm cured, but really they're not like 100%. They've accepted it, so they kind of don't notice it as much. It's not like that at all. I'm telling you right now, I'm like 100% good. And I've been good for the last, all of 2018, all of 2019. So 2 years now, right? I'm 100% good. It's all from stress. I know exactly how to get over it, so I'm never going to have it again. And every single one of you guys could get over it also. So hopefully that was insightful and answers a lot of your guys' questions about the symptoms. And that's about it for today. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Like I told you in the last video, like when I was looking up stuff on YouTube and stuff, like I would always like look stuff up and I'd see a cool video and then I would feel bad. I need a little bit of reassurance. So I would go and try to search out that video again. And sometimes I couldn't find it. Sometimes I would find it. Sometimes I would find it and I'd see the guy had new videos that I wanted to see that I didn't know about. So don't make this like one of those things where you have to like go back and search this out again. I'm going to be really active on this channel and I'm going to be posting a lot of cool stuff that's completely different than anything else other people are posting when it comes to this. So make sure you subscribe, and it also gives me inspiration to keep going. If I put out like 50 videos and I have like 3 subscribers, I'm not reaching enough people for me to make this worth my time to continue. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor. It'll make me super happy. It'll keep me inspired to keep making videos like this, and I plan on bringing on like some cool guests, like doctors and stuff that I'm friends with that know what's going on. So make sure you subscribe. Drop me a comment below. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you're struggling with. Let me know any questions you have or anything you'd want me to cover on the next episode. And make sure you share this to anyone else that needs it. I want to reach as much people as possible that are struggling with this. So if you're in like the Facebook groups or something like that, or if you have friends that have it, just share it in the Facebook group, or send it to people you know that could benefit from it. Like I said, I just want to reach as many people as possible. Obviously, I don't get paid for this, right? I'm really, really busy nowadays. I take my time out of my day to do this for you guys, and I want to keep doing it because I feel like it's me giving back after getting over this and understanding it. I feel like it's almost like my obligation to pass the knowledge along to you guys, right? So subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment below, tell me something, like the video, share the video on Facebook or wherever people need to see it. That's it. Appreciate you guys listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.